Hey y'all, one more Redneck Reads Reddit, doing a little malicious compliance this time. And let's see here. First one, you want me to precisely log my time more accurately? By Minsk and Boo Forever. Hope I got that username right. This was about 10 or so years ago. I work at a CNC machine shop, and my daily duties range pretty widely. Anything from production of parts to machine setup, program writing, and assisting other employees with their own needs during the day. At this time, we had a large number of new hires, so I spent a significant amount of my time helping other people. This is relevant to the story. Enter the bean counter Dean. Now, he didn't like how much time I spent in setup on my jobs. He hounded me every week about keeping better track of my time. I tried explaining many times that it's silly for me to go count my parts and clock off whatever job packet I was clocked into, just so I could walk a few machines over, help someone for 5 or 10 minutes, especially considering how horribly slow computers that took 1 to 2 minutes to get switched over to another job packet. He wouldn't let it go. So I decided to give it to him. I did this one day. I vowed to track my time as precisely as possible out of spite. If the guy 10 feet away from me needed me to come look at his program issue, a 30-second fix, I would walk 50 feet away, clock out of my job, and then into training like a good boy. The stunned look on my coworker's face was priceless. He thought it was hilarious when I explained it, though. I needed to hop on a forklift to hop on the forklift to my next machine and move a pallet 10 feet, clock out of the job, and into forklift, and then back into the job. The end result was that I probably spent 2 hours that day just clocking in and out of stuff. The next day, my supervisor, not Dean, came and told me I can't do that anymore. I was wasting too much time. He knew what I was doing it for and got a kick out of it. I have never been bothered about the accuracy of my time card at work since then. Dean is long gone, and I still work there. Happy ending. Ain't it funny? Well, on my little clipboard here that says all the stuff about your job that I've never done before, but I got a clipboard and a piece of paper that says I know how to do your job. And then you do it the way they want it done. And everything goes. Oh, I love stuff like that. Absolutely love it. Let's see here. Oh, let's grab us up another one. Should we have two that are pretty much the same from a title? I haven't looked at these. Why not? Oh, this is a kind of a short one. Boss tells me I must clock working time accurately. By Wiggle Pig. So, a particularly special boss tells me that in no uncertain terms I must accurately record all of my working hours. I do so, including overtime. I get called to Big Boss to explain why my hours for the weekend overtime differ significantly. My claim is 4 hours less than from my partners when we should have started and finished at the same time when we were in the same vehicle. I explain I cannot explain this, but I clocked in and out on the card system, even for overtime. My partner on that job was the first boss, the big boss, and I was fully aware that his timekeeping and record keeping was, at best, defective. I still log my hours accurately. Okay, and comment was here made. Did you do this with the intention of exposing Bosses One's excessive overtime? If not, it's really not malicious. And this guy responded back, absolutely. I was fully aware that his record and recording is at best defective. To be fair, he had not been stroppy with me over the 2 minutes spent buying chocolate at the corner shop, then I wouldn't have been all that bothered. But he was, so I was. Nice. Alright, let's see here. See if we can find one not dealing with time clocks. What we got here? Click on it. Okay, how to discipline an overeager engineer. This was submitted by Actually Louder. Um, I have a software engineer on my staff that has been very useful. He basically trains himself on new technologies on a weekly basis and can memorize and apply the latest O'Reilly's textbook over a weekend and master the content within a month. He's been on board with our company, 5,000 plus as of January, a little over 4 years, and has done well with us, i.e., stocks, bonuses, puts in at least 15 hours overtime per week, etc. He has received a promotion from immediate engineer to senior engineer in his first year, mostly due to his hiring manager messing up and hiring him too low. He's had a lot of success these past 3 years and is pushing excessively for a promotion to engineering director, which is the next level up, 2 levels beneath me. In his words, he's got the knowledge, drive, and mindset to make it to this level and plans to be a director before he's 33. While I wish that for him, the company does not promote people unless they've worked in a role at least 3 years and can prove they're ready for the next level. He's recently completed his annual review, and while he got a raise and encouragement that he's close to reaching the next level promotion, he wasn't happy. He insisted on knowing every detail of how he's not ready for the next promotion, and insisted on having check-ins each month to know if and when he's ready so he can be promoted early rather than having to wait another year needlessly. To be promoted during annual reviews, I tried to encourage him to be patient, but he's insistent that time spent in the current chair shouldn't be a factor, while management insists it's important to de-risk a candidate. We've had a serious problem with him this month since a formal meeting where he's noted he's not happy being magically promoted on a whim. He's made a point of cutting overtime to nothing, focusing on his personal blog/LinkedIn to show off his knowledge, focusing on generic skills and abilities at the expense of company-specific skills and technologies, and encouraging other engineers to do the same. This has caused a lot of disruptions in the company, and I'm receiving recommendations to encourage this employee to quit. Okay, how do I straighten out this formerly useful employee? He has secured 2 hours of severance in lieu of overtime due to unique circumstances, and senior management on principle doesn't want to pay $700,000 to fire someone. Okay. This manager went over here on Stack Exchange, is where he posted this. And this guy was thoroughly rebuked. But okay, here's my thing on this guy has kind of maliciously complied by doing the job that he's supposed to be doing. Now, granted, he's causing some disruptions, but y'all said he needed to be in the chair for 3 years, and this guy has accrued 2 years of service in lieu of overtime. 2 years of service. If y'all are looking at calendar dates, that's, one thing. But if dude has accrued 2 years work time, I think he might have the experience for it. Alright, that really wasn't a malicious compliance. But hey, like I say, I'm reading these live, so, we get what we get. Alright, this one right here sounds good. Want me to wake up an air crew during mandatory crew rest time? Fine, we'll cancel mission critical flights by call my name or walk on by. This was 10 years ago in Iraq at COB Spilcher. I was part of an air crew that flew mission critical nighttime flights. I wasn't a pilot, but I flew in a support role in the back seat. We were lucky enough to each have our own little private rooms called the CHU. With an air conditioner in each room, blacked out windows, it was easy to sleep all day, then wake up at 1600 or 1700 and head to work. We had big signs on our doors, day sleeper, do not disturb, come back after 1700. The contractor in charge of safety and maintenance of the CHUs, it was KBR I think, decided one day they needed to inspect the smoke alarms and fire extinguishers in every room. It's a reasonable request. My boss gave KBR a list of rooms not to disturb until after 1700. Of course, they ignored the list, and we were waking to workers banging on our doors and letting themselves in. Just doing my job, sir. Air crews are required by civilian and military law to have adequate crew rest. It's more than, hey, get some sleep. It's a strict number of hours before flying that should be undisturbed. It can become a very big deal legally if there's an accident, and it is later revealed the pilot or aircrew member wasn't given a chance to properly rest. As inefficient as the military can be sometimes, it's amazing what a single well-placed phone call to do. My boss shamelessly canceled the evening's flights and called the colonel head honcho to tell him why. We never saw KBR again. They avoided us like the plague. I wonder why. Yep. Alright, I think I will find us one more. And I'm just going by the titles here as I scroll down. Ooh. This one sounds good. I don't know if it'll be good, but it sounds good. Okay, Karen. Be careful what you ask for. By Jenny. By Jenny. 8675309. 8765309. Alright. It's funny how a song can trigger a memory. Oh God. Okay. This morning when I drove my kids to school, the song This Old Heart of Mine by Rod Stewart and Ronald Isley started playing. Remember this for later. Also remember this was late 1990s, early 2000. So although cell phones were popular, it was a far cry from what we had today. If someone was needed, we had to call their pager and wait for a call back. I remember those days. About 20 years ago, after my husband had moved to a different state from where we both were born and raised, the move was for his job, so rather than pursue a job in a regular field, I found the attempt to hire a job in a regular office. I went in for the interview, and it turned out my soon-to-be boss grew up one town over from me. So rather than the usual half-hour interview, it turned into over an hour of chatting about her sports team back home, the differences between states, etc. Karen, the second in command, sat through the interview and looked bored. She yawned loudly and stretched her arms, despite the fact that Boss and I didn't realize how bothered she was. She had a Karen haircut before it was popular. By the time we got back to our apartment just minutes away, the temp agency called and said that the company wanted me and was willing to put up the rest of the contract I had with the temp place in order to make sure I worked with them. As it turned out, I was taking Karen's old job. She got a promotion, so you think everything would be cool. I was wrong. While Karen wasn't my boss in any way, shape, or form and had no supervisory power over me, she let it be known that I was the newbie in the office. She was only hired 6 months earlier, so she was a newbie herself, and yes...
You need to have a talk with this thing.
Come here. Is he being friendly?
Down friendly.
He went down your shirt.
Yes.
Bye, Duke.
Yeah.
Hey, it's warm in there.
I don't care.
I'll stick my head in there later. It's nice and warm.
It's off limits.
It's off limits to the Chihuahua.
Yes. Stay with Daddy. Stay with Daddy.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Karen was a newbie herself, so Karen is known to be a pest in the office. Nothing major, but she would do petty things that would bother people. She would make microwave popcorn and leave the bag in for 5 minutes, making the entire floor smell horrible. She should be shot in the street for that. The smell of popcorn is the worst smell on the face of the planet. And yes, little whiny dog, did she lock you in here? Oh my God. It's breaking his heart. Oh, now you open the door. Thank you.
Go get in the bed with your boy.
That's actually the son's dog. He needs to be in bed with the boy. Okay, but yes, if you burn popcorn purposely, you need to be drug out into the street and shot. Smells horrible. She would listen to her voicemail on speaker, even when she is sitting with her hands idle. During that time, I thought I was pregnant and had to schedule a doctor's appointment. Although it would have been a welcome surprise, hubby and I were married just for a few months. It turned out to be the stress of moving and being the newlywed got to me, and my schedule was off. I wasn't pregnant during that time, just stressed. Karen overheard my conversation with setting up the appointment, reminded me while I was at work I was on company time and wasn't allowed to make personal phone calls. Fans of the office will understand this. The floor plan was just like the Dunder Mifflin, very open, and you could basically hear everyone's conversation in a day. It became a usual din of white noise, with everyone talking quietly, basic common sense. Boss was fantastic. He had a great sense of humor and was super friendly. I remember one day as I walked back to my cube from the fax machine, he cranked up the small radio he had in his corner cube. This old heart of mine rang through the office, and as he turned around, he saw me, took me in his arms, and we danced. He twirled me around. I laughed, and a few others in the office tapped their foot or did a little dance in their chair. I can't tell you how excellent the people in the office were, except Karen. After the dance with my boss, she walked up to me, and while I was at the coffee maker, wanted to tell me that what the boss did was completely inappropriate and I could sue for sexual harassment. I rolled my eyes and told her to lighten up. The boss was in his late 60s and would always talk about his grandchild. He was the kind of boss that everyone would want to have. Karen would often go to meetings in another part of the floor. Since she was somewhat close to my cube, every second she was away was heaven. In the meeting, she would leave her pager on her desk, as any matters could have been handled right then and there. Fast forward a few months. Both she and I were settled in our new jobs. She became distracted because she and her husband were set to buy their first home. During this time, it was a seller's market, meaning that properties were scarce and anything that came to market sold at or way above asking price. My husband worked with someone who paid $50,000 Yes, 50,000 above asking price. The dream home that Karen and her husband wanted was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on 1 acre of land just on the outskirts of town. Karen made good money, and so did her hubby, so the sale would be based on both their incomes. Soon, Karen thought that my role in the office was her private secretary. I wasn't, but what was a once in a while, can you do me a huge favor and fax this turned into a demand of do this now. After the first few times of nicely asking me to fax something, she would ask me for the confirmation report, although I was clearly busy with my heaps of paperwork. I'd look through the piles and piles and find what she needed. Soon, even she could say I was busy, or we had an office secretary whose job it was to fax for others, etc. Karen demanded I do it. She was tired of not getting an immediate response when the fax went through. She insisted that not only I do the clerk work that wasn't part of my job, but I let her know what I do every step of the way. Every step of the way. Okie dokie. Soon we had the infamous day of Karen being in an hours-long meeting with her pager on her desk. Her hubby was at their apartment playing phone tag with the realtor, waiting on a response to their offer on their dream house. The closed conference room meant do not disturb. Basically, unless your hair was on fire or the woman next to you was in labor, do not disturb. The do not disturb rule was set by Karen, and she didn't like interruptions for what she called petty reasons, such as someone landing a big account, etc. Karen gave me 2 papers to fax every step of the way, remember? So, hey Karen, it's OP. Just wanted you to know I noticed your request and I'll go to the fax machine now. Karen, it's OP. Just want to let you know I've stood up and I'm heading to the fax machine now. Karen, it's OP. Just want to let you know that I faxed the paper to the first company. I'm back at my desk now, and after a sip of coffee, I'll go back to the fax machine and do the second one. Hey Karen, it's OP. Just to let you know, someone else was using the fax machine, so I had to wait. Hey Karen, it's OP. Just to let you know that while we were waiting for the fax machine to be free, I walked down the hall to use the bathroom. Hey Karen, it's OP. Just to let you know I'm back at my desk. I'm getting ready to stand up again to go to the fax machine. I called her when I stood up, walked to the fax machine, used the ladies' room, took a sip of coffee, sat back down, went back to get the confirmation reports, etc. I also marked each voicemail as urgent. Her voicemail box was soon full, and there was no way for hubby to get through to her for her to okay the final offer on the house, which was higher than the asking price. She didn't have a cell phone, and this was way before texting. She'd left her pager on the desk. The door was shut, so nobody could disturb for any reason. Her own rule. Someone else bought the house. Nobody could get a message to Karen, so she wasn't able to get back to her hubby. Someone else bought the house. Although I wish I could say it was my hubby and me, Karen and her hubby were devastated. She asked why I didn't get her when he tried to call. I reminded her that we couldn't have personal calls during work hours. A few months later, my hubby got a job transfer and we moved again, this time to a different state. About 10 years ago, I joined Facebook to soon befriended old boss and a few former co-workers. I found that after I left, Karen lost her punching bag and combined with the stress of losing the home of her dreams, she and her hubby soon separated. She left the company and nobody knows what happened to her or her marriage. I searched for people by her name in the state where we worked together, and then did a general search on her name. Unfortunately, she has a very common name, so it's hard to narrow down. She wanted me to do something that wasn't my job, and wanted to know what I did every step of the way. So I did. Oh, Jenny. 876-5309. You rock. Good one. Holy crap, this one right here is gone over 24 minutes. Y'all, if you like what I'm doing, hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Click the little bell. Click all so you know the next time I upload a video. I'm going to be trying to do 2 of these a day. Yeah, I hope y'all enjoy my spin on the reading Reddit stuff. There's a lot of guys out there who have been doing this for a while and are very good at it. I don't intend to ever be good at it. I just intend to have fun with it. All right, y'all. Take it easy. Have a blessed one. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.